going through the main story on the Standard newspaper, it says government NHR says government yet to implement measures to ban security officers as recommended by TRRC by Tabora Bojang of the Standard newspaper. The National Human Rights Commission (NHRC) has stated in its third status report on the implementation of the government white paper on the report of the TRRC that the government it is yet to ban dozens of security officials responsible for rights violation during former President Jammeh's regime as recommended by the Truth Commission. In January 2024, President Adam Barrow gave his assent to the ban from Public Office Act 2023 after it was declared by the National Assembly. The act is set to enforce the TRRC's recommendation for the banning of some officials, mainly from the security sector, from holding public office for varying periods of time. However, in its report submitted to the National Assembly, NHRC reported that despite the passing of the ban from Public Office Act 2023, the government has not yet taken any measures to ban the following officials from holding public office for 10 years: Corporal Alhaji Kani, Private Babukar Njai alias Njai Ponkal, Private John Charles B. Mendy, Private Babukar Ahmed Njai B. Njai, we have Private Albert Gomez, Private Lamarana Bari, Private Ansa Mendy, Private Jali Musa Susu, Private Lamin Marong, Private Mustafa Toure alias Churo, Private Lamin Koli, Lamin Senghor alias Assassin, and Private Babukar Mbub. The report said the government has also failed to implement the ban against Sergeant Gomez alias Hitler, Kausu Kamara, Pa Aliu Gomez, and BK Jata from holding public office for 10 years. According to the NHRC, the Ministry of Justice initiated the process by instructing relevant institutions to place those recommended to be banned on administrative leave, and the Ministry of Public Service is to be responsible for formal enforcement, which involves notifying affected individuals and relieving them of their duties through dismissal, forced retirement, or other administrative measures. However, those named individuals are yet to be banned. The Commission also stated that there is no official communication from the Gambia Police Force confirming whether the recommendations to take disciplinary measures against Modlamin Fati, Abdullah Bah, and Momodu Cham, who were at the St. Augustine's High School during the April 2000 students' demonstration, as implemented. The government has also accepted the TRRC's recommendation to carry out further investigations to dismiss and ban Lieutenant Colonel Amadou Bojang, Ibrahim Sisi, Babukar Tarawale, Alfred Bojang, and Babukar Singate from working in the security service, and consider the possibility of charging them with torture domestically. But the NHRC report stated that there is no evidence that further investigations have been carried out to dismiss them, or that steps have been taken to consider charging them with torture domestically. On the TRRC recommendation to ban present and former NIA officials who directly and indirectly participated in the torture of detainees and other gross human rights violation and abuse from holding any office in government for a minimum of 10 years. The Commission said during its reporting period, it found that no ban has been placed on Lamin Baji, Tijanba, Fode Bari, Ibrahima Jim Drame, Salmina Drame, Momodo Haidara, Usman Jallo, Lamin Baba Deng Jobate, and Baba Saho. According to the NHRC, there is also no evidence that former NIA Chief Harry Sambo has been banned from holding public office for 5 years for his participation in the torture of Omar Damfa and Balo Kante.
Wow.
Yes. Sorry, my phone is
I wonder what they're waiting for.
Yes. That is the issue. Every time dañ ko dee wax fii dañ dee am commission si nga xamante ne dañ dee def seen liggéey jox leen mandate bi sometimes to the extent of di yokk seen mandate bi dafa dem 3 to 4 to even 5 years ñu ngi def liggéey bi but at the end of the day suñu joxee seen recommendations to the government they fail to implement. That is the issue.
But let's take a look at the fact sheet provided by from the askan bi, because maa ngi gis si seen website bi. There was a time, I remember, the Gambia National Human Rights Commission sent latest progress report highlights that only 16th, recommendation issued by the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission (TRRC) have been implemented by the Gambia government. So over over a 2 years period between 2001 and 2023. So which means the rate is just 6% out of the 262 recommendations accepted by the Gambia government. So Gambia government's white paper. So of the TRRC. So vying the degree. So at this rate, so the government will take the government over 30 years. To complete the implementation of the TRRC recommendation. Because if you have only, 16, out of the 262 recommendations from the TRRC, so that's the only thing then rate is like at 6%. So it's going to take them 30 years to complete the implementation of the TRRC recommendation. So, small problem. Lot more essence. In fact, many people have been accusing the government for using taxpayers' money into all these processes, and then at the end of the day, didn't get any results, didn't get implement or whatever. So it's slow and stuff, then people will continue to blame the government for wasting taxpayers' money, don't you think?
That it's a dunyaka, because I see no reason why I set up a commission. At the end of the day, if recommendations are given, you will find it very hard to implement those recommendations. I don't think it's necessary to set up a commission. Again, for the Russian oil scandal, when there is an inquiry and all the stuff, the government is finding it very hard to punish the culprits they are involved in that scandal. So these are people they are yearning for justice for over years now. Orders and enforced disappearance, others are allegedly then ray where some of their people are. So and I think the government wouldn't say gonna work on they should work on the recommendations given by the TRRC. Those victims also the justice they deserve.
Yeah, because as it stands, according to this report, so the new job, even if some of them, some of the recommendations were carried out, especially with the issue of the Gambia National Police Force, because the commission is saying been official, official communication that confirms whether send band with likes of Modu Lamin, Fati, Abdullah, Ba, Modu Cham, were recommended, were implemented. Because the issue of these police officers that were present at St. Augustine's during the April 10-11, and loolu foog naa nit ñi dañ ci am interest trop. Loolu dafa nekk loo bés boobu maa ngi fàttaliku bés boobu was like it was one of the darkest days in this country, because for them fu nekk everywhere waaye ñaari fan yooyu noonu dafa taroon trop muy fii April 10 then 11 Bara area boobu noonu ak yooyu noonu ñaata xale des 12 if I am right su ma fàttewut 12 nga ñëw bés fii gis li fa nekk ci bés boobu noonu just because of benn student ngeen téye rek maltraite ko dóor ko su ma juumul sax foog naa moom lañ doon wax ne moom lañ naanal ndoxi cement or whatsoever. Students si time boobu yaa ngi am student body si like yaa ngi am NAPSA yaa ngi GAMSU the Gambia Press Union the Gambia Student Union ak yooyu noonu. So students yëpp dañ meroon dañ génnoon ci biti, and then not only the students but initially it was only the students, because communication was like we are going to demonstrate, and then students gather together whatever. But after all da nga gis ne ñëpp ñoo ci bokk because of affaire dafa open law. So suñ demee ba ñu am the chance of setting a TRRC, understand ba pare ñu make recommendations. I think government waruñ ta waste any time, no time pour ñu waruñ ta waste benn time pour implement some of these recommendations. So now if ñaanuma ko yàlla, but if atrocities have been committed you realize that these are some of the things you have it has been going on, and then you try set up another commission. Do you think the people will whether it's this government or the other government coming or whatever, so they've been in the next elections, do you think the Gambian people will trust our government, our representatives, for using taxpayers' money in commissions yoo xam ne ni at the end of the day the recommendations will not be implemented?
Sorry. I don't think didn't am that trust from people, because recent lu fi happen nekku the TRRC alone. Gis nañ the Jane Commission bi tamit as well. Finance yi nga xamante ne xew na fa when it comes to financial issues. Several people were banned from holding public office, but yes, still just then those people are appointed, they are still working with the government. So I don't think people also will have that trust again. Being this government or any other government who setting up a commission, they will make findings, give recommendations, but also implementing them is also a problem, because no one they are still with the government, they are they are implicated during the findings. So they find very hard. They will implement those.
Yeah, but why should it be hard? Because their names were mentioned, the recommendation said they should be banned. They should be banned. Man for more hard. Because recommendation
it's a matter of most, in as much as them then we recommend li ak li moy sarta yi lañ wara take to the certain people warlo regardless na mu ngi serve government or nekku de serve government or mun na ma serve in any other day. In as much as people are ñi yaangi soxla li nga xamantene mo nekk justice, war nañu bay sen xel bu baaxa baax with regards to lolu, because these are people li nga xamantene they have been yearning for this for ages, because just then during the TRRC hearings boom don't help. People were so appreciative about it. They were so happy, hoping at the end of this, after system recommendations, government with no waste, don't waste one time. Then you work on the Monica recommendation, but it turns to be the other way around. So I hope ñom tamit war nañu bay sen xel bu baax with regards to lolu said luñ wara def pour mëna gis na those people ñu am justice bi nga xamantene bobu len deserve, because those victims are still crying.
Exactly. And then dafa mel ni benn time ay waxtaan ak nit mu ne ma in fact moom TRRC bi su desoon si moom rek it will be like du nekk reconciliation then nga am reparation, it will be reparation ba pare reconciliation. So gis nga nit ñi seen interest naka la utee ci ni ñu doon gisee TRRC bi. Am na ñoo xam ne waxuma la implementation bi sax de waaye only even to reconcile, no, we cannot just reconcile just like that without reparation. It's reparation should follow, should come first, and then reconciliation. But you did mention about people working with the government and stuff like that. Some of them were pardoned, because Mangi is the likes of Njoguba. Hamna is one of those because of commission like in fact the Jana Commission, and then Momodu Sabali as well. But Sabali lulu mota hon munto na tahapur vie for the position of the National Assembly. But Njoguba now gis nañ ko with poor and stuff like that. But li ñu wax moy it should be implemented as far as it was recommended. You accept it, so it should be implemented. Why you waste time? Because if it's going to be at that rate, which is 6%, then obviously, according to them, it is going to take 30 years for government to fully implement the recommendations of the TRRC, which I think is definitely, which definitely doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.